Good morning. Welcome to the Sunday celebration of Spirit here at the Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living, where we honor each and every one of you wherever you are in your spiritual path. Please take this opportunity to turn off any electronic gizmos that you have that may interrupt the sacred space that we will be creating here today. And then say hi to your neighbor, especially if it's somebody you don't know. Hey. How are you, fella? He's going to be right back. All right. As I said, we here at the Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living honor you wherever you are in your spiritual path. And while we recognize that there are infinite paths too, there is indeed only one God. The words of the morning chant will be up here on the screen, followed by a spiritual mind treatment. Who's doing it? Michael Hart. Sorry.
Now, I know that I normally tell you it's very important if you want to be able to be open to changing your life, you have to be willing to change your habit of always sitting in the same seat. So if you are sitting where you always sit, then you need to change seats now. If you sit in the front, move to the back or the middle. If you sit on the right, move to the left. Go on, shuffle yourselves up. Just take a minute and do that, all right? And, okay, now, one other thing, let me have your attention because I know this always creates chaos. One other thing, if you've already done that, because I know a lot of you are used to me getting up and insisting that you do that. So if you've already done that, then during the day today, while you're here this morning today, I want you to look for someone you do not know and find out 2 things about them. So I'm going to give you time to do that, but not this second, all right? So, but please do stand up so we can sing the song together. And I want you to belt it out, all right? So that we know that you're awake and you're present and you're here. Okay, let's go. I sing my love, I sing my love, I sing my love into the world. I sing my love, yeah, I sing my love, I sing my love into the world. I sing my love, I sing my love, I sing my love into the world. I sing my love, I sing my love, I sing my love into the world. I dance my joy, I dance my joy, I dance my joy into the world. I dance my joy, I dance my joy, I dance my joy into the world. I dance my joy, I dance my joy, I dance my joy into the world. I dance my joy, I dance my joy, I dance my joy into the world. I live my peace, I live my peace, I live my peace into the world. I live my peace, I live my peace, I live my peace into the world. I live my peace, I live my peace, I live my peace into the world. I live my peace, I live my peace. I live my peace into the world. I sing my love. I sing my love. I sing my love into the world. I sing my love. I sing my love. I sing my love into the world. I sing my love. I sing my love. I sing my love into the world. I sing my love. I sing my love. I sing my love into the world. 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 Whew. Very nice. You may be seated. All that I need comes to me. All that I need comes to me. The light of love and grace shines on my face. All that I I've been set free, I'm released. The burden of my past torn away at last. I'm released. Sweet rain that washes me clean. Sweet rain that washes me clean. Sweet rain that washes me clean.
Knowing that all things everywhere are connected. I know that the sweet rain is connected even to the sun that fills the sky. That sun is connected to the fog. That there is a pattern of perfection, a rule of order, a nature that expresses itself in and through and as everything there is. Everything, everything, everything. A part of that one ever-expressing, ever-giving good, of that whose first law is order. As I count on it every day of my life, rely upon the sun coming up and going down, the seasons, my body, everything circulating and cycling according to that divine pattern of perfection, so that even where disorder or chaos appears, I know that underneath that, the one order reigns and reshuffles the pieces of the puzzle so that they appear more orderly one moment than the next, but always, always upon a foundation of knowing that that one order, that one abundance, that one love, that one power, that one joy is there in everything, if I only have the eyes to see it. So I know in this moment one thing about everybody in this room. I know that each person in this room is connected to every other, that we are one in that one power, that there is something beyond the facts of our lives that makes us breathe the same air, transform it in the same way, share the very fact of being with each other. And so I speak my word for an opening to a deeper knowing of this. In each one within the sound of my voice, I call forth that surrendering into the knowing of order that means that there is simply no space for anything else to appear in our lives. that nothing but that pattern of joy, of peace, of love, of abundance can be that wholeness in every realm of our lives that connects us not only to each other, but to that unseen force, to that energy that is life itself. And I celebrate this. I celebrate this deeper knowing of connection in each one, so that it might outpicture through that law that is always active and into which I release my word in this moment, as it is always delighted to fulfill the good in everyone and in everything. And so it does now, and so it is. Amen.
BRRA band. Our code name during rehearsal was the Nervous Wreck. Don't you just sometimes want to stay in that place after a meditation like that? You stay there for a moment. Sometimes it seems difficult to get to that place in our busy life. And we take the time to come to service and we take that prayerful moment, get into that place. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Place. And it's just so sweet. It's such a nourishing place to be. That's right. So I'm ready to let go into that place. Wow. Well, I've tried so long to do things my way. Gets me in trouble most every day. Now I feel ready to write a new play. You feel it too? Let me hear you say I'm ready to let go. I'm ready to let go. I'm ready to let go. Into the arms of spirit. To the arms of spirit. Yeah, I've been on this ride. Oh, so many years. All the rough water on this river of tears. Now when I surrender, I see all smoke and mirrors. Now when I surrender, I see it's all smoke and mirrors. I'm ready to let go. I'm ready to let go. I'm ready to let go. Into the arms. To the arms. To the arms.
Bodie, Robin, Rick, and Amanda. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Good morning, everybody, and welcome. Oops. Hello. Oh, now it's not talking to me. Well, let's see. We were doing so well. I don't know, Mark, you might have to do it. And it's not going? Well, that's funny. Okay. Well, I'm ready. Let go. If it goes, it goes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It'll be a miracle. This is one of those, we're in the mystery now, right? I invited everybody into the mystery. And I need to know what I'm doing sometimes when I do that. Oh, yes. Good. All right. Yay, Mark. Well done. So, I'm happy to welcome all of you here this morning. I'm Reverend Mary Murray Shelton. These are my teeth. I want to let you know that whoever you are and wherever you may be on your pathway of life, you're welcome here, and on your pathway of faith. And so you'll see that we have our welcome team up here this morning. They are ready to welcome everybody who's here for the very first time today. So let me tell you what happens. We have not yet developed our psychic ability, so we don't know who you are unless you give us a wave, but the only thing they're going to do is bring you a packet of information. So there's no tracking device in there. We won't call you at home at dinner time or anything like that. Just give us a wave so they can bring you some info and let you know. Here we go. Here's a lady right here. Yes, there's a fella in the middle there. There's people at the back. Yeah? Take those back to the back. That is my dear friend, Reverend Doug Fogelsong, who's asking for a welcome packet, and his partner, Corte. They came from Las Vegas for the installation to participate. God bless them, and it's been wonderful fun. In the welcome packet, you'll find a blue guest card. If you fill that visitor card out and take it back to the membership table, which is right back there in the back, they're going to give you a little free book called What Religious Science Teaches, a little blue book, and it tells you more about our philosophy. So, you turn in your blue card, you get a prize. How great is that? And we hope that we'll see you often here with us in the future. We're delighted that you're here. So this year is the 100th anniversary of our founder, Ernest Holmes, publishing his very first book. And so we're experiencing this with all the Centers for Spiritual Living, 100 Years of Science of Mind. Everybody is participating in this series. And this month, our center's theme is Dare to Live the Life You Came to Live. So we've been doing an 8-week sequence that is about daring more in our lives and making those commitments. And today, our topic is Dare to Connect. And when I sent out when Pat Malone actually sent out the invitation to this week, one of the things I said is, do you know where you belong? How do you know where you belong? So we want to talk about connecting and the importance of relationship and connecting and belonging today. And because it was the installation on Friday night, how many of you were here for the installation? Wasn't it wonderful? Great, wonderful fun. And I especially want to thank Deborah Welsh and Sue Ruda. Sue's here, Deborah is there. And in fact, if you were one of the volunteers who participated in putting this all together and making this possible, would you stand for a moment so we can thank you? This team did a fabulous job, and I'm just so pleased with everything. And because it was installation weekend, our own founder of this center, Reverend Dr. Lloyd George Tupper, is here with us this morning. And he is sharing the podium with me as we're speaking about Dare to Connect. So I want to introduce Reverend Lloyd Tupper.
Thank you. Thank you all. It was wonderful to see you Friday night. It was Friday night, wasn't it?
Yes, it
was. And it's wonderful to see you all today. I had a hit. It's very dangerous when Lloyd gets a hit, But I was sitting here thinking of 36 years ago when we started this community and how I could see the progression of the rows filling up. And that happened just now.
Yeah.
People are still coming in, they're filling the rows up. And when we finally moved from the theater on the square to the Scottish Rite Temple across from Stern Grove, we went through the same thing. We went row by row by row by row, and then we hit 900, and we had to go up to the balcony. This church is connected. And so I know the topic today is I Dare to Connect. And I'm reminded so much of that saying from the New Testament, though I knock at the door. I improvise, by the way. I've rewritten the New and Old Testament. Who will get off their butt and come and unlock the door and bid me welcome? Yes, you have to dare to connect, because this idea of a power greater than we are, that is omnipresent, and that we can use, takes courage. It takes courage. Just like it takes courage for Mary or for myself or for the musicians to dare to connect with you with the concept that what if people don't like what we have to sing or say or what we represent? We have to dare to connect. And I'm here today primarily in support, of course, of my dearest friend, Mary Murray Shelton, who I have known since the day she practically graduated from ministerial school in Seattle. But out of respect, I won't say how long ago that was. Because after all, she is an ageless, deathless beingness of God, like me and like thee. I had prepared some comments, which if you know me over the many years that I've been around, I probably won't get to. But I do want you to know this. I woke up this morning and I got organized at 6 a.m. and I remembered to stir up the gift of God within me. I never trust my mind to bring forth what was dumped into it, otherwise known as the race consciousness, overnight, to set the tenor of my day. I allow myself to stir up the gift of God by this wonderful book, which I always recommend to everyone. And if there are new people here this morning, if you will give somebody at our practitioner table your name, I will gift you the book, which is a tradition I've had in this church pretty much since we started. Because you see, I don't want to give you any wiggle room, none whatsoever. I want to say, in order for you to get the benefit of an infinite mind, you must dare to think yourself worthy to connect. And one of the race thinking impulsions, and when I say race, I'm talking about Carl Jung's theory of the collective unconscious. But we don't believe anything is unconscious. We believe that everything is conscious. So when the majority of people think we're unworthy, or we're not deserving, or that we can't connect to a power greater than we are, that has access into infinity, and that we are the immortal principle of life, therefore we are infinite in our capacity to draw down that which we need in that connection to give us that spiritual uplift where we feel we can do all manner of things, then it's time to reconnect. We never know as much as we think we do, because knowingness equals practice, and practice equals demonstration. I've been at this now 51 years. I know you're supposed to say, oh, he's so young looking and all, yeah. But I've been at it 51 years. Thank you, Deborah. I knew you'd come through for me. And I swear to God, as God is my witness, sitting right here before me, that I still don't know very much. But what I know, I work. I work it. And I know to some people, obviously somewhat deranged, but to some people, they think, my God, is that Lloyd Tupper still preaching the same thing that he's been preaching for 36 years or 51 years or whatever, somewhere in between? Yes, because I need it more than anybody else. Life is so good for me that I tend to forget the low points. But when I do hit a low point, and I've had a few, many of you know I had a major physical accident 5 years ago, and I practically annihilated myself. I do wear these. I thought I would never wear Birkenstock shoes, nor would I hang my plants by macrame. Do you remember those days? Well, never say never. But anyhow, at my lowest point, while I was lying on the landing of the stairs, which I fell down and put my head through the wall, I said, time to connect, Lloyd, time to connect. And when they finally took me to I have to tell this for the Me Too movement. When I finally found me 18 hours later, and they took me to an urgent care unit, the firemen that came, the nurse said to me, she was a nurse practitioner, I was corrected. Nurse practitioner said to me, well, when did this happen? And I said, well, it happened, I know, 18 hours ago, but I took a nap in between. And she said, really? And I said, yes. When I woke up after being on the landing for 18 hours, I thought, oh, God, what's wrong with me? I better crawl over to my bed and take a nap, and everything will be wonderful when I wake up. Well, there are a few challenges in that. But she said to the nurse assistant and some doctor standing there, isn't it just like a man? He's practically dead. But he thinks if he takes a nap, he'll revive. And there I was. But I do remember, and not just because it's the topic today, that I had to connect to that power greater than I am. And I think my first thought was, are you through with me? Is this my moment? My glorious moment of resurrection? And I got this answer, hell no. I'm not through with you, and you're not through with me. So get your butt over in bed, and we'll see what we can do to bring you out of this. And that has been with me all these years, these past 5 years, that I've been living on Cape Cod. And I wanted to tell you, those of you who are going to get this new book, that's my backyard on the book. And I own this book now. Raymond Charles Barker left it to me in his estate. Actually, he left me all his books. I'm a very blessed man. Anyhow, I do want you to know that connecting with a source greater than we are is one of the easiest things you can do, because it's just about turning your will and your life over to God. Any of you that have been in a 12-step program know that every day is a day in which we turn our will and our life over to God. I do believe this power that we call the all-originating Spirit, that we call it God or Yahweh or whatever our spiritual path dictates we call God, is always willing to respond to us because it is the principle of intelligence. And the principle of intelligence, according to the new physics and long before that, is responsiveness. So when you think you're praying amiss, beware. Because when you invoke whatever you believe God to be, or whatever name you use, you can be certain of a responsiveness, and that is connection to a higher power that you direct. You see, the wonderful thing about us people who believe in New Thought is that our life can be so exciting. If Monet came in here to you who are artistically inclined and said, would you come to my home outside Paris for a week and be my guest so I can teach you how to paint? And a first-class airfare ticket on Turkish Airlines where you'll have your own suite.
Yeah.
And attendants to bathe you.
Yeah.
Would you dare to connect? Well, let me tell you, the creator of Monet is bidding you to connect to it. And it's very simple. This little saying today, I can read it without my glasses. Divine prosperity is working in all my affairs. That's the heading. And then it says, if they obey and serve me, they shall spend their days in prosperity and their years in pleasure. That's the first stir of the divine, what are those big spoons called?
Ladle?
Ladle, the divine ladle. I gave a sermon on the divine ladle. I guess it wasn't too good. I can't remember the name. But that's the first stir. See, when you wake up, your mind is like a sponge. And if you bear in mind that you're going to squeeze the sponge out of all that, any Spanish people here? Caca. From the collective consciousness of humankind, which is simply what has the majority of people that have gone before and are existing on the planet today thinking about a new day to connect. And if you're in sickness, or if you're in poverty, or if you're in loneliness, or even if you're married and you want to get rid of that person, you are feeling, before you can think about it, oh God, another day. But if you open this book every morning, before you start thinking consciously, and you read the words with authority, divine authority, for have I not told thee that the works that I do, greater works than these, ye shall do in my name. And the name was not Jesus. He delivered the title, but it was Christ. And Christ in you, Paul wrote, is our hope and glory. Every one of you this morning can be an authority to speak the word into that law of mind, which is the law that the original Spirit spoke into, that brought forth our cosmos, our universe, our solar system, and you, to use its mind to image forth its likeness. You are its likeness. And if you're not connecting consciously with it, you're withering on the vine. Now, believe me, I've been at it, as I told you. I know you. Am I going too long? Well, too bad. I was here first. If you're withering on the vine, stop it. Don't indulge. You know, I'm not going to go there. No, Lloyd, don't go there. That'll be another sermon. If you're withering in the vine and you're fainting and gnashing teeth, welcome to the club. We've all been there, by the way. We can speak with divine authority. We know. And if you will allow yourself to reconnect with the assistance of these wonderful practitioners, where are you? Stand up. Come on, come on. All the practitioners, every one of these people are trained in prayer therapy. And if you're worried about how much are they going to cost, that's the first thing we think. But maybe if you concern yourself with how much are they going to give me and negotiate with them as far as what it's going to cost for you, their hearts will open and they will be there to serve you. So here you are. So look at them all now. So when you leave, you can say, do I dare to connect to a spiritual therapist who will teach me how to pray and to receive the gifts of God so that I don't have to die before I get the benefit of them on this earth? See? You may sit down. Maybe I'll get you up again. But what I want you to know is this. There are two things, and then I will sit down, that you need to know. One, there's an inspiration line that you can call 24/7, and I have been invited by Lisa on November 21st to record my second message of this year. So I have been invited because first I am a practitioner, and then I am a minister, and I would prefer to be thought of as a practitioner because I don't fit the role of a disciplined minister. I tell the truth too much, and I upset people, and that's what my goal is, upset people, and make them want to drink the waters of the high excelsia and be healed and restored and regenerated and perfected and beautified and made new. You immortal embodiments of the life divine. You who were never born and can never die. For you are the Spirit. You are not this mortal body that was made up from the elements of the earth. You came here as spirit and clothed yourself in a human form, and you will leave this human form, and you can do it consciously and get about your business in the great universe that is awakening you. You have a job to do when you're immortal, not just raise the dead. But you have to connect with that power greater than you that waits on you and says, though I stand at the door and wait and knock, who will open the door and invite me to sup with them? I will close with this remark. In Matthew it says, many are called, but few are chosen. We who are New Thought students, religious scientists so-called, we choose to be chosen. We don't wait for the sky to part and say, you are my beloved people. Stop wandering in the desert. We choose to be chosen. And then we go about our business, which is the business of the infinite spirit that is God, that politely waits on you to evoke a responsiveness in that which your heart dictates you should do. This is the truth. May it set you free. I love you. Bye-bye.
I'm not going to talk to you too long, so don't worry. I want to say that sometimes connecting is not an easy thing to do. And sometimes we have to overcome our preconceived ideas about a situation in order to actually make a connection. So I'm going to illustrate that with a story that I've told you before that I just enjoy, so I'm going to say it again. This fellow inherited a parrot from his uncle. And it was a very valuable bird, but the uncle was a kind of a salty fellow, and so all that the parrot really knew how to say, other than, general things that parrots say, was obscenities and profanities and swear words and things like that. And so the young guy was kind of embarrassed by that because anybody that came to the house had to listen to this parrot. And so he tried to teach it other things to say. But the parrot was not particularly interested in learning from him. And finally, the whole conflict escalated to the point where he was chasing the parrot around his apartment, yelling and screaming at it, and flailing at it, and which, as you might imagine, made things worse. And finally, he grabbed this parrot and he shoved it in the freezer and slammed the door shut. Now, in the freezer, he hears the parrot kicking and screaming and flapping and swearing. And then silence. And at first he's just relieved. And then he thinks, oh my God, I've killed my uncle's prize parrot. What am I thinking? And he jerks the freezer door open. And the parrot marches out onto his arm, looks him directly in the eyes and says, I want to apologize to you if I have in any way offended you with my language. And I want to assure you that it will never happen again. And may I ask what the chicken did? Sometimes in order to connect, we have to get through our preconceived ideas that we're not going to like this new place that we're in, or this new person who's taking care of us, or this new job responsibility that's been thrust upon us, or whatever it is. But connecting is what we're here for. If we weren't here to connect, there would only be one of us showing up. But the one of us that we are shows up as all of us in diversity so that we can experience the joy of learning from each other and connecting from each other. So we've been going through this 8-week program together where we finished the first 4 weeks of it, which you see here. This is the power of intention, which shows up on the poster. I'm going to show you in a little bit. And we have talked about curiosity, courage, change, and creativity. And today, we're talking about connecting with one another. And so when we participate together, we get a sense of not only connection, but also synergy, that something larger than just 1 + 1 or 2 + 2 is happening. Something is bigger than just the added parts. We get a larger total with that synergy. And then we also get, when we hang out with each other, we get entrainment, which means that we begin to vibrate together. Our essences begin to mirror one another. You know, have you ever been someplace where there are fireflies? So fireflies, they could be blinking all every which way, but then there's a point where everybody can blink together. What is it when birds do that? You know, they don't run into each other when they all change directions at the same time. There isn't ever anybody who crashes to the ground because he got run over. The same thing with schools of fish. They're entrained to one another. So in Stalking the Wild Pendulum, Itzhak Bentov says, if you have a group of grandfather clocks in a room against the wall, and their pendula are all different lengths, they'll be swinging at different rates, but as long as they're backed up against the wall together, they begin to share a common vibration, and eventually, all of the pendulums, I'm not sure what the plural is, will begin to go together. People that spend a lot of time together begin to be on a similar wavelength. So we have a greater power together when we're entrained in prayer or in consciousness. You know, Ernest Holmes says in this thing called you, expectancy speeds progress. Expectancy, not expectation, where you have a very specific thing that you expect to happen, where you're making an assumption, but rather a sense of expectancy, of being open to what is going to show up. And that's what we're kind of invited into together in our congregation, in our community, is stepping into that newness that allows us to even go deeper as a connected community and get the value of that, which is, in the sense of community, a sense of belonging. I realized a few years ago that belonging is as much about my choice as it is about how people are treating me. That I could be with a group of people who totally love and accept me and feel like I don't belong if I haven't chosen to be chosen, as Lloyd was saying. If I haven't chosen to embrace them and to be part of that group and to install them in my heart, as we did with each other on Friday night, that is what allows belonging to start to happen. That I'm not waiting for you to invite me to belong. I am already including you. You belong. Then the likelihood is I'm going to feel like I belong. Does this make sense, what I'm saying to you? And so in the process of creating this synergy together, where our energy expands, we need to be able to both receive and give from each other. Those two parts are very important. We have to receive what's available, but we also have to participate in giving. That's what I was just saying. In order to feel we belong, we have to give belonging. And we also have to enter into a kind of collaboration and where we give our attention and cooperation to each other, where we intend to follow through with commitments that we make to each other. And also, you know, one of the things that I learned about in relationships from John Gottman, who talks about relationships and couples and families and so on, is that we need to influence each other and to allow ourselves to be influenced by each other, to be mentored, to not know sometimes, to learn something from somebody else, to make space for that, no matter how old we are or how much we think we already know. And so then we come into this place where we have a shared vision. And shared vision allows us to go forward in collaboration, impact, visibility, and belonging. Those four things, which means that we're giving that out to the larger community. We're giving collaboration. We're participating with them. We're having an impact on the larger community. We're becoming more visible. And we are not only belonging, but we're inviting others into this belonging with us. You know the story about the redwoods that are in Armstrong Woods up in Santa Rosa area. They're enormous. But there's an interesting thing about redwoods. They don't have great deep taproots like palm trees do. Instead, they send their roots 3 times the height of the tree. Now, that's a lot of roots. They send them not down, but out. And so all those roots intermingle with each other and create a stable base for the whole grove. That's why redwoods grow in groves most of the time. They are held up by the strength of their community, and so are we. And that's why this connecting is important. So I said to you earlier that I wanted you to connect with people someplace that you hadn't already talked to, or you didn't already know. So this process that we've been going through today, so this is the poster. If you don't have a poster yet like this, you can get one over there at the membership table this morning. And I said these are the 4 qualities we've been working on, the power of intention. Now today we shift into the power of action. And connection is the action, connection is the action now that we're going to take. The first one in the second 4 weeks with the Hindu symbol here, because Hinduism has this interesting thing. You know why there are so many faces of God in Hinduism? Because every group that came into India with a different religion and a different name for God and different qualities and faces, the Hindu religion went, oh yeah, that one too. That one too. So inclusiveness is part of that connecting that the Hindu tradition began with. That's what it does. And so you're going to receive now let's see, I'm going to invite, Gaelen and Paula and Linda and Deborah. Paul, you come up. And I'm going to give you each a little pile of these. Now, Deborah and Linda, what I'd like you to do is start at the back. There are about 5 to a row, maybe 6 to a row. So just hand 6 to them and let them pass them down the row. And Deborah, start at the back, and Linda, and Gaelen and Paula start at the front, and you're going to meet in the middle. That's how you'll know you're done. And if we have extras, do you need a pen? Give a wave. Our pen people will come around and give you a pen. Hold your hands up so they can find you. We have pens. They're coming. They're coming. And then you guys that are handing these out, go to the other end of the row so you can pick up the extras after you're done with your rows. This commitment we're making this week, this commitment is to connecting. If you dare to connect, I'm going to invite you to put your name on this card where it says name and today's date, which is the 21st of October. So if you dare to connect, and if that is a commitment that you're making this week, I thought I had a pen here. Maybe not. No? Okay, I need a pen too. If you're going to dare to connect this week, I'm going to invite you, thanks Amanda, I'm going to invite you to sign one of these and date it, and hang on to it until the offering. We're going to put them in the offering basket. Not in lieu of the offering, however, but with the offering. So I want to make that clear. There are extras. Who doesn't have one? More coming. I don't have more of those. I don't have more of those. Any more of them? Who has extras? Okay, if you have an extra or there are extras in your row, hold them up. I guess, I don't know how come we don't have enough. Where are they? Let's see, I have a couple more here. I do have a couple more here. Let's see, I've got, there's about half a dozen. Ron needs one. Frank needs one. Mary. We need, and Jay needs one. All right? Now what you're going to do with these is you're going to put them in the offering basket with your offering. And so you won't have it anymore, but you're going to have a reminder to go on your poster. So ladies, come back up. Same 4 people, come back up. And I want you to just go down the center and give these to your rows as you go, okay? These are your affirmations. All right? And what you're, just go ahead and don't do them one by one though, honey. Give them a stack to the row, like if there's 5 in a row and 6 in a row. What you're going to do with these then is you're going to take it home and you're going to attach it to your poster over the top of connection, so that you'll have that right in front of you this week to remind you that this is a week to dare to connect. All right? And this says, I love people. I welcome friends and family, love, laughter, support, and affection into my life every day. So as soon as you get yours, stand up, because we're going to say this together again. We're going to affirm this together. And then it's going to go home for your poster. This is how we know you've got yours, because you're standing. See, now you don't have to wave if you need one. Any extras left over? Okay. All right, let me have those, Gaelen. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you. We had extras of these and not of that. That's so odd. If it's supposed to be the same number, I don't get it. But anyway. All right, let's say the affirmation together. I love people. I welcome friends and family. Love, laughter, support, and affection into my life each day. Yes, we do. We do. So you may be seated. Be sure, if you don't have a poster, you go back to the membership table, and if you're missing any of the earlier ones, we should have some back there for you, and if we don't, we'll have them next week. Because I want to share this last thing with you from Luciano di Crescenzo. We are each of us angels with only one wing. And we can fly only by embracing one another. This is what it means to connect. So let us be the community that embraces one another. Namaste. All right, my dear, so let's take this in prayer. So I'm going to invite all of the practitioners to surround the room, and you're going to see this sea of white stoles. When you see our practitioners on Sunday wearing their white stoles, this is an indication to you that every one of these people has spent many years studying to be a practitioner, and most of them have been practitioners 20 years or more. Some of them are newer, but most of them have been practitioners for that long. So they really know how to pray. Don't ever leave here with heaviness in your heart. Make sure you come to the prayer table, to the practitioners who are on duty, and get a prayer before you go home. And if you have questions about practitioners, you can ask any of the ones in the stoles who aren't at the table, and they'll help you out. So I'm going to invite you to put your hands over your heart. The one infinite presence is powerful in this place, in all places, but in this place in us right now in this moment. And we welcome that presence, that power, that infinite intelligence, that infinite boundless love. We open the doors of our hearts, our minds. We open our hands to greater love, to greater service, to higher consciousness, both in giving and in receiving, allowing that divine to connect through us this week, through random acts of kindness, through attention and laughter and inclusion and belonging and kind words and kind acts. We are love gorillas this week, going out into the world to spread the energy, the contagion, the connection of divine presence. We do this knowing we are completely empowered by that spirit which is the essence of what we are. And we surrender to it and allow it to express through us well this week, blessing everyone we come in contact with, because we are connected. We accept this in deep love, and we send it out into the creative law where it is manifesting right now. We let it be. And together we say, and so it is. Yes, and so it is. Oh, by the way, before they sing, I want to draw your attention to Halloween over here. Halloween has a very important message for you. You will see that up here on the altar, there are jumper cables. If you're feeling depleted and deflated and depressed, get yourself hooked up to Spirit. Get a jump for your soul. This is what this represents to us this morning, and thank you to Mark Cooper for the humor and the imagery. All right, let's have some music.
like a gust of wind, clearing out the cobwebs inside. Washing out the basement of my soul, I awaken from an ancient sleep. Dying in ecstasy, dying in ecstasy. I feel the ecstasy in my soul. I'm in ecstasy, I'm in ecstasy. I feel the ecstasy in my soul, in my soul, my soul. Standing on the edge, swaying with the breeze, learning to float. Melting all resistance, I relax, find my strength and I let it go. Way up in the distance, to the far horizon, there's a ring. Beyond the worldly success, there's an internal peace you can know. I'm in ecstasy, I'm in ecstasy. I feel the ecstasy in my soul. I'm in ecstasy, I'm in ecstasy. I feel the ecstasy in my soul. Rhythm of my breath is dancing like a river, wild and free. Inspiration like purple velvet color, wild and free. Blowing like a gust of wind, clearing out the cobwebs inside of me. Washing out the basement of my soul, I awaken from ancient sleep. I'm in ecstasy, I'm in ecstasy. I feel the ecstasy, ecstasy, ecstasy in my soul. I'm in ecstasy, I'm in ecstasy. I feel the ecstasy
doing the...
Would the ushers please come forward? This is our offering time in our celebration service. And if you're here for the first time today, your presence with us is your gift. And we invite you to come back again soon. For the rest of us, take your pledge cards or your offerings and hold it to your heart. And if you're with someone else, hold their hand. And join us in the offering blessing. This gift is God in action. I now send it forth to bless and to prosper. I know that everywhere it goes, it's creating a world living in love, one heart and one thought at a time. And so it is.
That should be fun. Hello, there I am. On behalf of Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living, we do, all of us here, accept this offering with great gratitude and joy, knowing that it is creating blessings and connection everywhere that it goes, beginning right here in this room with us. And so it is. So it is. Thank you. Go ahead, Sarah.
So I have an announcement for what's happening after the service. You've now, some of you, committed to connection. And so there's a special opportunity right after the service to form small groups for conversations and perhaps activities like book clubs or walking or hiking, anything that you want to do. It's a facilitated process. We're going to start at 11:15 and go till 12:45.
It is 11:15.
Oh, it is? Well, then we'll start
as soon as possible.
As soon as possible. And we're going to be over by the fireplace. So come and be part of the process and connect with other people around topics you're interested in talking about and doing. So
that's great. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, thank you. Yes. We are into the offerings. And so I want to thank first, let's see. Can I go back? Yeah, here we go. All right. Am I safe to talk now? First of all, I want to thank
everyone for coming to the installation and for everyone who had anything to do with creating it. It was really a magnificent experience. And these balloons that are laying here and those that are over at the fireplace were actually big balloon arches in the room. But, you know, from Friday night until now, they've kind of decided to rest. And now, following the service, you have the most fun thing that's available for you to do, which is to pop them. In order for us to get them out, they told us, pop them. So Sue would love some volunteers to pop balloons. Yes? This little guy would like to do it. Yeah. And we think stabbing it with a pen is probably going to be the way to go. So there'll be if you like popping those little bubble wrap things, wait till you do this. You're going to have a ball. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is that I think you may know, because I announced it last week, that Betty's husband passed last week. He made his transition. So Betty Riddell, we're sending condolences to her on the passing of her husband, Rob. There are 2 cards back at the events table, and also Betty's address, which you see here, if you would like to send her a condolence card yourself. But you can also sign one of the ones that we have at the back for her, because we'll be sending those. So we want to let you know that that has occurred, and that we want to send her a little love. You just heard about the Inventa session. That's here today, like starting now, and it's going to meet over there at the fireplace. Next Sunday is our very own Pizza Sunday at Marin Pizza. This is a fundraiser for us. So all you got to do is go to Marin Pizza after the service, mention Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living when you order, and 10% of your lunch will come back to the church. So I think it's a great day for us to connect by planning to go for pizza after the service next week. So next week, show up, be ready to eat pizza, all right? And also, we're doing Thanksgiving food donation collection beginning next Sunday. The bins are probably out there already, but we're actually beginning next Sunday. Bring the food into the service. We're going to do a special blessing, and then we'll have you take it out of your bags and put it into the bin, because it will save the volunteers at the food bank time if the stuff is out of the bags. And everything will go blessed. We have a 400-pound challenge over the 4 weeks that we're doing this, to get 400 pounds of unopened, unexpired food. So we encourage you to bring that, and we have flyers someplace that tell you what all the important things are that they need. Mary has them back at the back, so you'll have those back at the back if you need them to know what to bring. Also, we would love to welcome some more altar angels and also some more welcome men. So if you are interested in being an altar angel, you might have a conversation with Mark Cooper this morning. He can tell you how much fun it is. And he'll let us know if you've expressed interest, and we'll take it from there, but you'll have a great time. It's a rotating thing. You don't have to do it every week. Lastly, if you're a Libra and you're a member at Golden Gate, happy birthday. You get a free birthday session with a practitioner. Come to the table, get your coupon to fill out, and all that good stuff will be given to you. Be given unto you. All right, let's stand for the benediction and our closing song right now. Take hands with those around you. I know we ran long today, but hey, you're juiced up for the week. All right, so please say with me, I now walk so that whoever walks beside me dwells in the presence of God, and whoever places a hand in mine is lifted, and whoever thinks of me is illumined with God consciousness, for Spirit and all people and I are one eternally. And so it is. Oh. Here we go. It's in every one of us to be wise. Find your heart, open up both your eyes. We can all have everything without ever knowing how. It's in every one of us. Whoops, oh, I'm sorry, Mark.
It's in every one of us to be free. Find yourself, open your eyes and see. We can all know everything without ever knowing how. It's in every one of us here and now. And so it is. Have a great week, everybody.